What's up? Welcome into your daily Buckeye Blitz for a game day. It's fucking game day, Saturday, September 23rd, 2023, 9/23/23. Getting nuts in here. Got my daily or my weekly picks. We're looking at all the top 20 matchups. I pulled out a handful, maybe an extra one or two. Baker's dozen, I don't know. Anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. I hate these night games because it takes forever. It feels like 3 days are passing by before the game gets here. So brace yourselves, take it easy, go hit that honey-do list and regroup, come back around the TV in the afternoon, watch the second half of some of these noon games, start of some 3:30 games, shit like that. And then get geared up, have some supper, get geared up and beard up for this couple of 7:30 games, actually, besides the Ohio State game. So, all right, let's get into it. Here are my picks. Starting at noon, we got a barn burner here in the ACC. Number 4, Florida State at Clemson. Florida State's 3-0, Clemson 2-1. This is Florida State favored, the road favorite by 2 going into Clemson. Wow. Over under 55. This is very surprising to me, honestly. Looking at these guys, Florida State, Clemson, very similar in average yards on offense. They passing and rushing. They're right around 275-ish rushing. Clemson has a little bit more there, about 20 yards more, 25. Then on defense, Florida State is allowing some yards through the air, though, 268. Clemson's D is playing well outside of that Duke game, of course, where they lost 28-7. I'm not sure how you do that. The 3 turnovers didn't help, by the way. But then Clemson's gotten fat on some Charleston Southerns and some FAUs, stuff like that. So rebounded nicely. Good job. Way to beat up on nobody's. But Florida State allowed over 300 yards passing last week to BC. Yeah, Boston College, not before Christ, Boston College. And Phil Capistrano, whatever his name is. So they did get a pick on him, but they still allowed over 300. The penalties killed Boston College, 18 penalties in that game. So my pick, I'm taking Florida State -2 at Clemson to win. 3:30, we got a game here on ABC. Oh, that by the way, that was on ABC, the noon game too. 3:30 ABC. You got number 19 Colorado. They are 3-0 at number 10 Oregon, also 3-0. Autzen Stadium, Eugene, Oregon. Oregon is a 21-point favorite. That seems excessive. Call me crazy, but that sounds like a lot. So what do we have here? You got your perfume from Paris, Shedeur Sanders, racking up some yards, 1,251 yards, 10 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Got himself firmly in that September Heisman conversation. But then Bo Nix is not a tremendous slouch either. He's got almost 900 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, no picks. Running the ball, you got Edwards for Colorado and then Irving. Both those guys have similar numbers. Now, where things get weird is Colorado, they put up some serious passing yards, but they don't run the ball for shit. They average 61 yards a game rushing. Now, Oregon's a more balanced team, obviously stronger defense. Oregon throws for 350, runs for 230. Very balanced in the way that, Ryan Day and Ohio State like to be balanced, kind of that 350 to 200, 250 range. But the defense for Oregon is only allowed 158.7 yards per game. Rushing yards, they've allowed 127, but this Colorado team isn't even going to try to run the ball. So I pick Oregon there with the 21. Yeah, I think the 3 touchdown spread there is a win, and the over-under is 69.5. So they look for this to be a high-scoring affair, but I think this Oregon defense is too good. All right, next up, 3:30 on Fox. You got number 22 UCLA at number 11 Utah going to Salt Lake City, the SLC, Rice-Eccles Stadium. Both teams 3-0. Utah is a 4.5-point favorite, over under 52.5. I like what UCLA is doing here with Dante Moore, the former Michigan high school quarterback stud. Dante Moore is coming in, getting some numbers here. He's racking up some yards, and only one pick. That's good for a freshman quarterback. But then I haven't heard if – I don't think Cam Rising is back for Utah. I'm assuming not. Yeah, I don't think he's back. So Utah right now doing okay, doing it on the ground though. 186.7 yards on the ground per game, 170.3 through the air. So I really don't trust that quarterback to throw it much. Then you got their defense, Utah's defense, just shutting down the run, only allowing 65 yards a game. Now UCLA, not much different. They're only allowing 69.7 yards per game. These two defenses are very similar in how they approach the game and what they're allowing. So I'm taking Utah on this one with the 4.5. I think they rattle the freshman quarterback and get some plays on defense. And I don't know if Chip Kelly can go into Utah and win that ball game. So I'm taking Utah, the Utes. All right. 3:30 on CBS. You got number 15, Ole Miss, going to Alabama. Number 13, Alabama. It's the last time you could say that. Number 13, Alabama. Bryant-Denny Stadium, obviously, in Tuscaloosa. Bama's favored by 6.5, over under 55.5. I almost said both teams are 3-0. False. They are not. Ole Miss is 3-0. Bama's 2-1. In case you've been under a rock. Now, here's what we're looking at. Jackson Dart, starting quarterback for Ole Miss. He's got 852 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, just the 1 pick. Now, Jalen Milroe, supposedly there's rumors that he was suspended last week, and that's why they went to the second and third quarterbacks. That's why Tyler Buckner was in the game. Yikes. So, Alabama, not doing much through the air, 196 per game on average. They're running the ball well, going back to kind of that ground and pound, 171.7. But their defense is playing really well. They're only allowing 309 total, 309.7 yards allowed, 189.7 through the air, 120 on the ground. Kind of surprised they're giving up so many yards on the ground, but I think now this is Lane. Lane. He's always got something special for Nick and old buddies. I think. Oh boy, I'm taking Ole Miss on this one. I'm taking Ole Miss. I got to change my pick here. Ole Miss. I know it's 6.5. It's a key number. Just under a touchdown. I'm not convinced Bama has a quarterback yet. And I'm not sure that they can run the ball consistently enough. Ole Miss is going to sling it around. They're going to score points. I don't think Bama can score points, honestly. I'm going Ole Miss minus 6.5. All right, next up, we got 2 more. 7:30 on CBS. That's a weird time for CBS to have a game. Anyways, number 24, Iowa goes to number 7, Penn State for a whiteout. Beaver Stadium in Pennsylvania. Penn State, 15-point favorites, over under of 40. So you know what they're expecting from the Iowa offense. More of nothing. So what's Iowa getting done here? Are they doing anything at all? Oh, Caden McNamara. This dude loves cracking himself up at a press conference, doesn't he? He's the best comedian he's ever seen, I'm sure. Drew Aller, getting it done through the air. Just 4 touchdowns, but he's, thrown for 737 yards. Katron Allen. You got the other running backs in there. What's their names? Yeah. Nicholas Singleton. I forget the other guy. I always forget the third guy's name. Anyway, those guys are combining for 208 on the ground per game. Yeah, 208. So Penn State's loading up, putting some serious yards up there, 467.3 total per game. Yards allowed, they've allowed 267.3, just 102 on the ground. So they're shutting it down on the ground. Went to Illinois, beat up on Big Bert, beat up on West Virginia and Delaware. So Illinois' defense held them down for a little while, but Penn State, if anybody knows what the spread is, it's James Franklin. And I don't know what Iowa can do to stop it, honestly. Just lay back and enjoy it. Iowa allowing 106 on the ground. Something's got to give here. 208 averaged by Penn State, 106 allowed by Iowa's D. Too much, too many weapons. I'm going Penn State with a wonky 15 number, over under 40. All right, the game you've been waiting for, your Ohio State Buckeyes, my Ohio State Buckeyes, 7:30 NBC. Number 6, the Ohio State University goes to number 9, Notre Dame, the Hunchbacks. Buckeyes are 3-0. Notre Dame 4-0. They played in week 0. Yeah. This is South Bend, Indiana, obviously, Notre Dame Stadium. Buckeyes favored, another road favorite. Buckeyes favored by 3, over under a 55.5. Now, I've done an extensive breakdown on our rush hours on Wednesday and yesterday on Friday afternoon. We got into it, got a little hairy. Notre Dame is getting fat on playing a bunch of jerk-offs. Central Michigan, Tennessee State, no offense, Eddie George, Navy, NC State. Honestly, I mean, who is NC? NC State is not good, man. Yeah, NC State has played nobody. But anyway, back to Notre Dame. So they're putting up some yards on chumps, some just Swiss cheese defenses. 508.8 total yards they're putting up. 304 passing, 204 on the ground. Yards allowed on defense, they've allowed 234. Most of it through the air, 126 and 107. So again, going up against garbage offenses. Notre Dame wants to establish that run game, number 1, and then the play action. Use the play action off the run game to try and get some plays downfield. Now, Kyle McCord is the man in Columbus. He's thrown for 815 yards, 6 touchdowns, just the 1 pick. Hartman has over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, no picks. Travion is your lead dog in the running back room. Estime is one of the top running backs in the country, over 500 yards, 5 touches. And then the weaponry that Ohio State has in the chamber. Harrison and Buka, Fleming, Stover. Don't forget about Chip Trainum, the second running back. Now, I'm not really threatened by this Notre Dame wide receiver crew. These guys don't really do much, honestly. Chris Tyree. Okay, you got a bunch of guys that have like 10 catches. So Tyree's a converted running back. You got Tobias Merriweather. Estime will take a swing pass or screen out of the backfield occasionally. Great House. Yeah, I don't know about that. Holden Stays. Just a bunch of dudes. So they do chip in a couple of young guys at running back behind Estime, Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love, these guys, Jabran Payne. Not huge contributors at all. So the Buckeyes, though, They're only allowing 223 yards per game, 140 through the air, 83 on the ground. This is where the immovable object meets the, I don't know, force. How's that saying go? I forget. Anyways, Ohio State needs to shut down this run. I believe they can. We're going to get the big men in the middle, shutting down that run, linebackers rallying, filling holes. That's what she said. Some Sonny Styles flying around, making plays in the backfield. You're going to see a complete defensive effort from these Buckeyes. Therefore, this is an easy one for me. Take the Buckeyes and the field goal to cover. This is an Ohio State victory. Blue chip ratio heavily in favor of the Buckeyes, the more talented team, just from recruiting alone, better developed. Again, Marcus Freeman just beginning his second year as a head coach. Not sure he's ready. Do we even know he's a good head coach yet? I don't know. Goes from DC to head coach of Notre Dame. I don't know. I don't see it. Blue chip ratio, Ohio State 85%, Notre Dame 65%. That's your 4 and 5 stars. Not enough, Notre Dame. So it's going to be a good one. It'll be exciting. I think Buckeyes roll. I'm thinking like a 10-point victory. So let me know how you guys are doing with your picks. I'll talk to you tomorrow with your instant reaction. Go Bucks.